Hello everyone, today I'm working on this SD40-2 lettered for CN. This is another rare and hard to find engine. Let me just pull it out for you. So it's used, but it's in really good shape. I could custom paint one of these, but this part here I find that very hard to do. So sometimes it's okay to get help. So this thing's in really good shape. All the handrails are there, couplers. The horn is missing, but they put it in the box for me. So that's gonna make it easy. Put that on right away. You have to handle them just right to get it on there. So Kato engines, there's no glue on them. They just make it so precise that the parts fit in. And then that's it. And that is good for me because I can take the whole thing apart, do what I want, paint it, change part of it. You know, let's say a handrail is broken, I can change just the handrails. Here we go. See, I told you it could be done. These are really cool because they have ditch lights. This is a DC unit, and we're gonna switch it over to DCC and sound. Just remove the shell just like that. So there's your nice DC board. So we'll just switch that out for a DCC. I've got my Excel Systems SD40 DCC and soundboard ready to go in. I'm definitely keeping that. So let's just see how it fits in there. It's looking pretty good so far. Actually, that's going well. Let me just work on it a little bit off camera. So it fits in there very tight, but also I'm gonna have to mill the frame just a little bit to make room for my speakers. I have to grind this down maybe a millimeter or so. So I'm gonna get to work on that. So I marked down the area that I need to grind with a Sharpie. Well, when I'm grinding this, I do not want to have all my gears close by because it's gonna make little pieces of metal. So I don't want them to be in any of my gears or any of my not my worm gear or even my motor. So how I disassemble those, you can just pull on that. How I disassemble them, I just lower the frame detail down, and then that gives me enough slack to pry on the body, and then I can release the trucks. So they come out with the worm gear. If you pull on it, you can lose the worm gear and the drive shaft. Let me show you what it does. So this will just come off. Not very likely that you'll break the engine. It's just the worm gear and the drive shaft are very small, and you can lose them. So you don't want that. So there's one, and then let's do the other side. almost there. There we go. So yes, you can see the very small worm gear and the two very small bearings. If you just pry it out, you can lose them. And that would be bad. If you ever do lose them, they are available as replacement part from Kato. They still make it. There's the part number. And these are reasonably priced, can get directly from Kato. So I removed the front one exactly the same way. And then I can remove the fuel tank. And then with the fuel tank off, I can get to my motor, which I am going to remove the motor because I'm going to be grinding the frame and I don't want any of the shrapnel to get in there. Also the contact strips, they can go. So now I've got just the frame and I'm ready for grinding. But before I do, I want to make sure that there's nothing major in here. As you can see, it's going to be okay. I'm not hitting anything really big. Normally I would do this with my Dremel, but I've got a nice angle grinder. So that's going to make short work of this, although you have to be careful not to go too far. I started grinding with the grinder, but I finished up with the Dremel to make it look neat. Now everything fits very well. That made a big difference. Now I have plenty of room for my speakers and my wires in the back. Be sure when you do this, be sure to clean your frame also after. I just finished cleaning mine. So now we can work on the reassembly of everything. Well, alright, now to clean the wheels, I'm using exactly the same process that I did a couple of weeks ago. And then the motor and its cradle, they go right back in here, just like so. And the other frame half, these are meant to be easy to put back together for the people at the factory. That looks good. And that looks good. And then the contact strips. Those shouldn't be too hard to put back. They have a precise spot. They have a precise groove in the frame there. It shouldn't be too hard to put back. And the other side. Looks great. And then the fuel tank is going to hold them in place. That looks awesome. And then we'll just snap the frame detail in place. And then these are meant to be easy for the people at the factory to put back. So all you need is to line up the drive shaft with the flywheel, and then they'll just snap back in place. Yeah, when you have it in, you know right away. So yeah, you use gravity as your friend to angle the drive shaft properly, and it'll just sit in its proper place with the flywheel. Maybe you need to turn the flywheel a little bit, but that's good. Once you cut it in, you'll know, you'll feel it going in. It's actually not too hard to do. And then these will snap into place. Perfect. This is the area that I ground down. So I'm gonna want to try it on DCC just to make sure that it's super quiet. Did I say DCC? No, I'm gonna go try it on DC so I can be sure it's really quiet. So I'll just stick my DC board in there. That only takes a minute. And then make sure you got that pin under that ear. There we go. And then that little pin's a little bit stubborn. Well, I'm just a little bit stubborner. So there we go. Now we can go try it on the track. Yo, check it out. It's whisper quiet. That's what I'm talking about. I put a little bit of Kapton tape where it felt useful and necessary. And now I can come in and install my sound DCC and soundboard. And you still have to check for that little pin. That's always going to be part of it. And then you just lock that in place and it should be good to go. Alright, so I took a minute to program it. So to have the shutdown and the startup sequence, it's F8, so I'm just going to press 8. And then I program a headlight effect where it goes dim and then bright. So that's pretty neat. That works well. Actually, it's a lot of fun. So now I can go put the shell back on. Awesome. You can download the instructions for it. It's nice to have with all the CVs you can program. Here's the light effects here, CV117. So that's kind of cool. And all the functions. It's nice to know this. And there's also included all the contact information. There's all the contact information if you want to buy one. So you have all the email addresses. So that's good to know. And now I can put my shell back on. I'm gonna run this with the other CN-SD40 that I put together last week or a couple of weeks ago. That's gonna make a real nice set. And now it's time to run some trains. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon.